Gabby Killett tells us who will get
food assistance for some people.
Gabby Killett tells us who will get SNAP benefits next month and who won't. Partial relief for Louisiana families in need of food assistance. Governor Jeff Landry signs an emergency order Friday, approving benefits through November for children as well as elderly and disabled people.
The governor, since the legislature is already in special session, he went ahead and he declared a state of emergency within the state of Louisiana, which is within his powers as governor.
For everyone else affected, SNAP benefits will lapse November 1st if the shutdown continues.
Even though those people might not be, elderly or children or disabled, those people still might have members of their household, still might have family members that are depending on those SNAP benefits. And of course, those people as individuals themselves might be below the poverty line.
Louisiana families we spoke with explain how essential the programs are, especially for those already affected by the shutdown.
This is going to be the end of government assistance for people that truly need it.
Well, but that's just the beginning, though, because it's already been a lot of things that's already been affecting, like, everyone in the neighborhood.
My children work hard. Take care of their children. Then they got grandchildren they got to take care of.
In the meantime, food banks prepare for an influx of people. And Louisiana families consider what meal times might look like to those not protected by Landry's order.
About the food stamps, there's going to be very little hot plates on the table.
When they go away, it's going to be a lot of turmoil for people that don't have money to feed themselves. And then looking for a job. The economy is so bad right now when it comes to finding work.
Collins says Landry will need to ask for additional legislative approval for the programs if the federal shutdown extends past November. And Governor Landry says the emergency stopgap will be paid out of the state's emergency funds.
Okay, Brian, craziest touchdown ever.
Tennessee Titans, Music City Miracle.
Tyson snags it, starts running like he's double parked.
Shalom, shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all praises, glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Harakwadash, and double honors to the old apostles, great millstone, rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord, doing the same and teaching the same. All right? And before I get the precepts, I'm going to get the article too. All right? So what you see going on, dealing with the governor of Louisiana, giving out, $150 million worth of EBT food stamps, all right, to not everybody in Louisiana, but, to those who they deem needed or is necessary, okay? And I'm going to say this out the gate. Everybody lies to get food stamps, okay? And they're going to get more strict with it too. All right, they're going to get way more strict with it, And for those of you that have food stamps and know somebody that had them, you already know they had to lie. They had to put it, they had to finesse, to be approved for food stamps, but also to get enough, to get, a lot of money on the EBT. All right. So that little bill that they, I'm going to go to the article. All right. This money that they're funding for the EBT is not really, it's not a lot, as much as, they're making it seem. Okay. All right. And I'm pretty sure others in the faith, you have a lot of family members or somebody on EBT. Okay. And I know at least 10 family members just off the dome who's on EBT. All right. And most of them are able-bodied citizens. All right. Most of them are able-bodied citizens, but they just have low-income jobs. Papa John's, Domino's, Popeyes, working at places like that. But they're, for the most part, they're able-bodied, citizens. So you that's why I say most people lie on the EBT anyway, or they just claim other people's children and stuff like that. All right. So this lit 150 million ain't gonna do shit, and people are gonna be expecting to get the same amount before it turned off. All right. And this not gonna stop anything. Prophecy is gonna keep moving forward. All right. So this is what I call false hope. All right. You got people celebrating and rejoicing, and they're sighing, they have a sense of relief. But hey, if you was listening carefully, they let you know that shit not staying on forever. It's like some crutches. All right. This is basically like some crutches. All right. And they're hoping that the federal government, comes back on, and able to take back, that responsibility. All right. So this is by Louisiana Illuminator. All right. It says Louisiana prepares to continue SNAP benefits with $150 million in state funding monthly. All right. And this was by Julie October 24th, 2025. All right. So this was yesterday. It says Louisiana political leaders are preparing to use $150 million monthly in state funding to help continue food assistance benefits while the federal government shutdown in Washington, D.C. continues. All right. Governor Jeff Landry, and legislators announced Friday. I mean, it's a choice between using money that we have or people going hungry. Senate President Cameron Henry said in an interview that that's why we have the fund balances that we have. Landry issued an executive order Friday directing the state to cover the cost of the federal supplemental nutrition assistance program for November 1st through the 4th. You see, the Louisiana House of Representatives followed the Louisiana House of Representatives followed with a 97-0 vote Friday for an urgent request that would allow state money to be used for the program until the federal shutdown ends. All right. So, Lord willing, the federal shutdown keep going. All right. Because that's just going to speed up, these perilous times. That's going to hasten the great tribulation that's coming. You can't stop prophecy. All right. The Bible spoke to these times that we're in, and it's going to get worse before it get worse. Okay. So you can't reverse, the clock. All right. You can't reverse the times. Okay. The Lord is bringing this place down. All right. The Lord is fighting against Babylon the Great America. All right. To bring this place down. All right. So though hand join the hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. All right. It says, bear with me. It says ahead of the vote, Jack McFarland told his colleagues it was imperative that today we take necessary actions to do our jobs to make sure we take care of them, the most vulnerable of our population. All right. And roughly the population of Louisiana is it's like 4 million people. All right, which I'm gonna go to it, and it said that at least 850 people that live in Louisiana is on food stamps. Okay, it's on SNAP benefits, and they already let you know that all those 800,000 people is not just going to get all the EBT back. All right. So it says it says the Louisiana Senate is expected to approve the House resolution Wednesday. Advocates for low-income residents praised the legislator's decision to preserve access to food assistance. All right, the famine is still coming. Okay, you don't have imports coming in from these other countries. Okay, Babylon the Great America is not receiving food. All right, on the East Coast. All right, and the West Coast. Those ports is not receiving any more food. Okay, so people that live in Louisiana, they're not seeing the bigger picture. All right, you still don't have food coming in anymore, due to the tariffs. All right, and Babylon the Great America just creating more and more and more enemies. All right, you still got the truck you still got the truckers boycotting, all right, protesting and things like that. The people that work on at these ports to get all this food and resources coming in, they're protesting too for higher pay. All right, and the truckers are steady letting you know, hey, a famine is coming. The farmers are letting you know a famine is coming. These are people, that's literally seeing it. That's their livelihood. So they see it coming and they're telling people it's coming. And it's all biblical. There's biblical prophecy that there will be a famine in the land in the last days. All right. So you can't stop prophecy. And I'm not going to read all this. I'm going to jump, pretty much jump around. You can read all of it for yourself. It says, and the numbers are different too. Different articles, they got different amounts of people that's on food stamps or whatever like that. So, take it with a grain of salt. It says in Louisiana, because I seen one article, it was saying like 850,000 people are on SNAP benefits in Louisiana. All right. It says in Louisiana, 793,000 people receive SNAP benefits that help them purchase food every month, according to the Landry administration. That equates to 17% of the state's total population of 4.65 million. Okay. And I guaranteed you, I'll say at least, I'm going to say 400 to 500,000 of them people are able-bodied citizens. Okay. And I'm just speaking out of experience, the people I know, most of them are able-bodied citizens, so everybody and their mama is just lying, just to, to take the pressure off of them, okay, to finesse the system to make it easier on themselves because they already working minimum wage jobs. Okay. So it says, and then the cost of living is going to steady increase. Everything is going to get gradually worse. All right. And brothers been going into that, gradualism, and that's something the elites do. All right. All right. And there's like documents, all right, and videos out there of this is one of the agendas of the elites of, and you got the Illuminati cards too that show like the different stages, of before they reach the New World Order. Okay. And one of those stages is chaos, famine, which all of it is being controlled by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. Everything is that's going on is biblical prophecy, but it's playing out in the earth. And also the Lord is using, Esau, the so-called white man, to bring about these prophecies, some of these prophecies as well. Okay. AKA Jacob's trouble. All right. This devil is about to come down with great wrath on you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They already setting the stage and ICE is already, attacking anybody. That's and they're very specific. They're going after you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They ain't going after no one else. All right. So now it's not just the Northern Kingdom Israelites that's being targeted. All right. Deported, killed, put in concentration camps. Now it's the Northern and the Southern Kingdom, all 12 tribes. All right. Is being, attacked. All right. But we warned you Israelites to repent before it's too late. Okay. All right. It says, Henry said it's not clear yet whether the state will be able to find enough money in the short term to avoid a break in benefits for everyone who receives SNAP assistance. All right. In my spiritual opinion, if the federal government shutdown continued to prolong, and Lord willing it do, this is all vain. Okay. Them coming up with this fund of the 150 million, all right, for Louisiana residents is all vain. It's vanity anyway. All right, but long as this government shutdown prolongs, all right, you're still gonna have the effects, of that government shutdown. They're still gonna come to pass. All right, and people not giving. It's more than just the SNAP benefits too. They're cutting everything. All right, they're cutting more than just food stamps. All right, so Babylon the Great America is like a sinking ship. All right, that has a bunch of holes in it, and they're trying to put, bandages, over all these holes, and the hose is not holding. I mean, the bandages that they're putting on the hose is not holding that water from coming in. It's breaking. Okay. So it says, all right, it says the initial round of support will come from moving money around within the State Department of Health, which has an annual budget of $25 billion. All right. Which I don't think they're getting that anymore. That's what we don't know. Whether the department has $150 million in cash available immediately, Henry said. The priority for Landry and lawmakers is to ensure seniors and people with disabilities who are enrolled in the program and receive their benefits at the beginning of the month before others. See no delay in benefits at the end of the next week, he said. All right. And that's pretty much it on that. All right. So, I'm gonna stay all we can do is watch and always pray. All right, so watch to see what they're gonna do with that. Okay. And I'm gonna try not to make this video too long, but I was looking into different things about Louisiana. All right, and I looked up how poor is Louisiana. All right, because I was trying to see how effective this 150 million funding bill that they're doing for the SNAP benefits, how effective it's going to be. And I know, in hindsight, it's not going to be effective at all. All right. It's not going to be effective at all. All right. So I looked up how poor is Louisiana. It says, I'm probably not going to read all of it. It says Louisiana has one of the highest poverty rates in the nation, with approximately 19% of households living below the federal poverty level. All right. So that's 19%. That's 19% of like 4 million people. All right. So I'm going to do the math right quick. Hold on. Because I looked up the population of Louisiana. They say 4.598 million. All right. And this census was taken in 2024. All right. So it says approximately 19% of households living below the federal poverty level. Okay. And we ain't got to do all the percentage. I'm going to just do 4 million. All right. Okay. So this is how many people you have living below the federal poverty line. Okay. So you roughly, and this is just a estimation. All right. All right. But you have 760,000 Louisianians. Okay. That's what living below the federal poverty level. Okay. That's a lot of people. Okay. That's a lot of people. All right. Shit. That's most of the people that's on EBT. All right. That's most of the people that's on EBT. So let's go. Salagi. I can get rid of that. I want to see that number they had put on here. Bear with me on this article. So it says in Louisiana, 793,000 people receive SNAP benefits that help them purchase food every month, according to the Landry administration. That equates to 17% of the state's total population of 4.65 million. So you see the numbers are slightly different, but that's like a rough estimation. All right. So most of the people that's on food stamps, they're below the poverty line. All right. And I seen last year, seen an article last year, and it was on Instagram, and it was saying how I believe it said 80 or 90% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. Okay. So ain't no help in this place. Ain't no help in this place. All right, don't need that. All right, don't need that. And I want to get this word false hope. I'm not going to make it too long. And lower willingness is edifying. It says false hope is a belief in a positive outcome that is unrealistic or has little to no chance of happening. This often happens when someone doesn't accept the reality of a situation or when they have been led to believe in a fantasy, and it can lead to disappointment, frustration, and emotional distress. And that's exactly what the governor of Louisiana is doing. All right. That's exactly what he's doing. Okay. So let's get some precepts. All right. Bear with me, it's loading up. So this is the Good News Translation, so I'm going to be jumping from the GNT to the KJV. 2 Timothy 3:1. Remember that there will be difficult times in the last days. All right? We're in the last days. All right? We're in the end times. This is just the end of an age. All right? This first world age, all right, under Esau. Or I should just say that this age of, the Edomites ruling the world, okay, is coming to an end. All right? The next kingdom up, all right, the next era or age after this one, all right, after Jacob's trouble, after the Great Tribulation, after World War III, the Battle of Armageddon, the next kingdom up is the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on earth. Okay? And for those of you, which, it's thousands and thousands of videos, that brothers make, and even on my channel of, how the kingdom of heaven is going to be, implemented in the earth, when Yahweh shall come back. Okay? So it says, verse 2, people will be selfish, greedy, boastful, and conceited. They will be insulting, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, and irreligious. They will be unkind, merciless, slanderous, violent, and fierce. They will hate the good. They will be treacherous, reckless, and swollen with pride. They will love pleasure rather than Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. They will hold to the outward form of religion. They will hold to the outward form of our religion, but reject its real power. Keep away from such people. Okay? You see? And, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua told us that, what have righteousness to do with unrighteousness? Okay? So that's why we don't hang around or, be around our biological families too long, because they don't believe in this truth. They don't believe in the Bible. They don't believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right? And a lot of them say they do, all right, but when you actually, the scriptures tell you a tree is known by its fruit. Okay? So a person is known by what they do. Okay? A mouth can say anything. All right? So not only do you have to be talking the talk, but you also have to be walking the walk in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Okay? And that's what we do. So therefore we can't be around people in the world, or spend so-called spend time and hang with them, and be around them 24/7 and things like that. All right. So let me go to the KJV. All right. And I'm going to just get these two precepts. Jeremiah 51:9. Jeremiah 51:9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Okay? So Babylon the Great America cannot be healed. You can't reverse prophecy. It's prophesied that this place is going to fall economically, all right, and physically. Okay? All right? So all of the pillars that hold this country together is going to fall one by one. Why? Because the Lord is fighting against this place. You would know that if you understood the prophecies and the will of the Lord in the last days. All right? So we don't have to flee out of Babylon the Great America. All right, you don't have to run to Canada or Mexico or nowhere. The Lord is going to come deliver us out of the land of our captivity. Okay? And I'm going to get a precept on that after I read Proverbs. Okay? The Lord is going to deliver his servants, those that call upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua in truth and sincerity. He's going to come and pick us up with the chariots, the so-called UFOs. All right? So we don't have to run nowhere. The Lord is going to come, deliver us. All right? And what I mean by you don't have to run nowhere, I'm talking about you don't have to leave the country. All right? You may have to, when society collapses, you may have to get off the grid. Well, not may, you will have to get off the grid. Okay? You will have to get off the grid. You may have to flee into the forest, the wilderness. Okay? Or swamp, wherever you're at. All right? But Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is going to protect his hopeful elect in that time. And Lord willing, I'm of the elect number. All right, so Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness deliver from death. Okay? So us in this truth, we store our treasures in heaven. All right, we don't, we don't seek riches, or government assistance from this, from this damn devil. All right, and his beast system. We don't. All right, we trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and we know that the Lord is going to bring Babylon the Great America down. All right, and you watching it, and it's going to happen in this generation. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna end it on this precept. Jeremiah 16:15. But the Lord liveth that brought Salakia 14 on down. Jeremiah 16:14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord Yahweh liveth that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he have driven them, and I will bring them again into their own land that I gave unto their fathers. Right, so in the last days, Matthew 24 chapter tells you this, the Lord is going to pick up his elect, all right, from the four corners of the earth. All right, Matthew 24 and 30. Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds, UFOs of heaven, with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. All right. So Lord willing, else edifying. All right. I'm going to end it and give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem, Harakah Kodash. Double honors to the old apostles, great millstone, who rule and teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord doing the same teaching, saying.